Hello. So today I'm going to continue by doing the tutorial. This day I'm going to do surface ships. Warship operations. Let's load it up. Phase 1, defending yourself. Be attacked from the air. Phase 2, hunt down a submarine. Phase 3, attacking land targets. Phase 4, attacking a warship. And I don't really need to read all this, I've read it before. Alright, so we'll begin the scenario. So we get command of the USS Stockdale. Alright. So let's start. The first thing that's going to happen is an aircraft is going to come by and drop some harpoons on us. Let's not waste any time. Let's head towards the anti-submarine area. And let's turn on our radar so we see enemy stuff coming. Defending yourself. Whoa, we detect him pretty far out. Huh. So let's launch our helicopter and take him out. Might as well turn on his radar too. So here comes the P3 Orion that is going to drop harpoons to engage us. But we have our radar on and we have 24 ESSM missiles, so this P3 Orion has a very small chance of being able to engage us successfully. Let's drop a passive sonobuoy under the layer and another over the layer. I should probably show you how I do that. So if you right click ASW specific options, drop passive sonobuoy. I need to change the angle I'm doing it at so I can show you. Passive sonobuoy, shift and bracket, and regular bracket is deep and shallow, and then active sonobuoy is the other end there. I don't believe the SH-60B has sonar. It has sonobuoys. Can just verify that real quick. Correct, it does not. But it does have a magnetic anomaly detector, whatever. Which it looks like is passive. We can't turn that on. However, we can drop sonobuoys. we've caught this submarine. He's not going anywhere. Now, I could just kill him now, or I could wait for these to identify him. He's not escaping either way. And if I'm not mistaken, if I wanted to engage him, I could actually do so with these Rum 139Cs, which is an interesting weapon. Basically, it's a rocket-assisted torpedo. So it shoots a torpedo out, and then that torpedo enters the water and proceeds to basically just be a torpedo. I don't want to keep this submarine waiting, so I'm just going to make a mission called ASW Intercept. I'm going to make it an ASW Strike mission. Active. I'm going to assign this active Seahawk to it, and I'm going to let him manage however he wants to do this from now on. I trust him to deal with this submarine himself. That way I don't need to wait for it to be detected. Now, if you're positive it's hostile, of course you could just engage. Now we're just waiting for this P3 Orion to fire. And he's done so. So, have I targeted... Oh, yeah, that's a dead P3 now. Now, the air defenses on the Burke here are going to just kick in automatically. And this pink line here, going from the destroyer to the missile and to the aircraft, indicates the illuminating radar that these missiles are being guided by. If we look here, we'll see that the ESSM, which this Aegis-class destroyer has 24 of, have this semi-active seeker. So basically there's an illuminating radar on this destroyer which guides the missile to the target. So the way that this P3 could survive is by breaking the radar lock, and then the missile would be blind. And then there's a lot of information about its data link and a bunch of other stuff there, as well as information on the illuminating radar itself. It says its range, technology, all sorts of stuff. And this little bar right there indicates how much fuel is left in the missile, and how much or at least how much energy it has left. So the way these missiles work is that they fire out and then they achieve a very fast speed early on, but then they'll start slowing down. So this missile here, 16 knots, its max speed is going to be listed down here, is going to be much faster, 2250 knots. And these missiles, because this energy tab right down here is higher, I expect to have more energy. So I expect this to be, oh, 1554, what? Huh. Interesting. But you can see that their speed decreases as they're flying. That one works. So they start out fast, they accelerate, then they reach a terminal speed. It might have had to do with the fact that this missile here is at 300 feet above sea level, where the other missile would have been modeled that firing upwards would have caused it to go at a faster speed. So I'm now curious. Okay, so... Oh, and there, the helicopter decided to engage. So yeah, the missile at sea level goes slower than at max altitude, which makes sense. So now we've got this torpedo in the water. And we can see here, this is the cone of its active sensor. Now, one thing to keep in mind when dealing with helicopters is a lot of Russian submarines actually have SAMs on them, but they can only employ them close to the surface. Okay, so phase 3 is attacking land targets. So 122 millimeter gun artillery battery is guarding the shore and will also be engaging ammo shelters. Okay, so it's basically suggesting we use whatever weapon is most suitable. Okay, so I'm going to have this guy return to base, and I'm going to hit U to unassign him from that mission. That mission is done. I'm going to have that go inactive. Alright, so we've got ammo shelters. We click on the target itself. We can see generic ammo shelter, armor none. It says how much its capacity is for munitions. We don't care about that. We're just blowing it up anyway. It's missile defense. It doesn't have anything to shoot down missiles, so it's just saying 2. I'm not sure why. They would commonly be guarded by something? I don't know. So chances are we could engage these 3 ammo shelters with a Tomahawk each and take them out. Maybe one of them will still be standing. But now this battery. What we care about is its range is 9 nautical miles. Fires an HE warhead. And it's got 6 guns. So these 6 guns outgun my big expensive destroyer. We don't have... Oh, what's my helicopter doing? Back to base, buddy. Back to base. And fast. Go, go, go. Anyway, what I was saying is, this artillery battery outguns me. Now, yeah, I could fire a few $1 million worth of Tomahawks to take it out, but let's merge, let's show non-friendly range symbols, and we can see its range here. So what I'm going to do is accelerate to full. I'm going to then stay outside of its range. Let's go flank. Let's just get there faster. And we're going to creep once we get on station. Now, while I'm waiting for my helicopter to return, I think it would be a good time to go over ammo choices, because we have a bunch of different types of ammo. in our 127mm gun, and I need to figure out which is going to be the best to use. So it looks like there's two types that we have. We have this we just hit Shift F1, click on it, we could see the types, so we can look it up. We've got the high cap body Mark 437 fuse and the Mark 419 fuse. So we'll be looking up and seeing what the difference is between those two. So we'll start with the 437 first. Alright, so it says what our range is. The big thing is that we outrange that shore battery with this. We can target mobile units, and we have 3 damage points. Anti-land 13 nautical miles, anti-surface 12. I'm not sure why there's a difference. It actually can be used against the air targets as well. Okay. Then we have this other with 419 fuse. Can't be used against air targets. Same range, same damage points. But I didn't check before, so this is surface POH reliability 99%, land 99%, surface 80 meters. I guess that's dispersion, I'm not sure. Oh, that's probably okay, it's but I'm not done yet. Alright, well, either way, did he get back to base? Huh. Now I'm actually going to rearm my helicopter here. Oh, it's still landing. So basically these two look the same. The difference is that this 419 fuse cannot be shot at air targets. So because it can't, why not use it up on a target that can't be an air target, where the others would leave me high and dry if I needed to shoot at air targets. Although I need to defend myself with my gun here, I'm in a world of hurt already. Either way, it does appear that that is the correct weapon choice, the 419 fuse. So we're going to add them in. Just make sure, yep, 437 is the one that shoots. Okay, good. So while we're engaging this, I'm going to load my AGM-114 Hellfires onto my helicopter here. I've already got the other, so this can be 3 sorties for fast attack. So we know that a ship is going to be coming into this area, and we'll deal with them. But our ship is going to be busy engaging this. Additionally, this ship doesn't actually have air weapons on it, unfortunately. I'm sorry, it doesn't have ship weapons on. So we're going to go high, and we're going to go towards the sea area. Of course, with this island here, we wouldn't be able to see things that are right around here until we get higher up, so we can look down on them. Now, we're still jamming. I'm not sure why. Radars I want on. Sonars are fine if we leave them on. Did I already set that to engage? Yes, I did. Whoa, he is far out. "30 knots. So he will close the distance relatively quick, but we can go towards him. We are approaching the appropriate range. So now our gun is going to unleash everything on this. Another way I could have dealt with that would be to load rockets on my helicopter, which actually aren't available on this helicopter, but you could also kill them, of course, with Hellfires. Hellfires are more anti-tank missiles than anti-ship missiles anyway, but they're short range and they're what my helicopters have. Now, in the event the ship gets close, I could use my guns on it as well, or I could use my ESSMs to actually shoot at the ship itself. They do have an anti-surface capability. However, their warhead is small. They do not do a lot of damage compared to, say, Harpoon. Remember that 16.65 damage points. Let's pull up the Harpoon RGM-84D. Has a warhead of 215 pounds, 166 points. Although a Harpoon is subsonic, so it's more likely to be shot down. But it is surface skimming, where the ESSM will shoot up into the air and then come back down. Now, they only gave us 24 ESSMs, but if a Burke were meant for the air roll, it could have a number of SAMs on it. They just didn't give me these for this mission. So I'm going to speed up just a little bit here. Now, really, with the amount of tomahawks I have, I really could be just firing them to take this out. So now that I'm approaching this ship, which is not emitting anything, so he might see us from our he might see us from our radar, but what he doesn't see is where we are exactly. At least I'm assuming that. So we're going to start going low. So if we look here, the AGM 114M Hellfire launch altitude 60 feet above ground level. So we can go significantly lower. It's identified as a Nanchuka, so he's probably still not emitting. Alright, well we can go to 60 feet above ground level, which is actually going to take us out of our radar range. At this point, I suppose we could really turn the radar off, but either way. Surprised I have not shot this and actually hit it yet. I'm going to scramble my other helicopter too. I don't want this guy getting close, damn it. Well, we finally got a hit, so he probably took out one of the guns. So I don't know if we're reloading now or what. Nope. Probably not. Okay, so if he's coming to me at 30 knots, what I can always do is just stop. I'm actually going to go... This guy could actually spot him for me. There we go. I'm actually going to slow down to loiter. So what I want to do set it up so that he comes to me. And there's a reason for that, which I'll go over in a minute. Oh good, I've got another hit. Now, another way you could see battle damage assessment and see if this has been damaged or not is to fire a Tomahawk, but that's $1 million freaking missile. It's not always worth it just to use it just to do a battle damage assessment. Alright, so if we look at the Nanchuka, let's look at its weapons. It has these 5 nautical mile SAMs. Anti-ship missiles, which we just don't want to deal with. Nuclear even. And guns. Short-range guns for air targets. But either way, we can fire our Hellfires at 5 nautical miles, which is just outside of the range of their defenses, but just outside. So the best thing I could hope for is to hit him with Hellfires and get out just before he gets into range. But if I'm going towards him, I can't do that. Waiting for these guys to close is like watching paint dry. actually going to hover now. And from this point on, he is coming to me. And I'm allocating all 4 of my Hellfire missiles to be shot at this guy. So the way that Hellfires are going to work is they are laser guided. So the helicopter will need to paint this target. But once these missiles fire onto the target and hit, then I can run the helicopter away as fast as possible. When this guy gets close, I'm actually going to have him go down to 60 feet. Now, maybe one thing I could do to decrease the chances of him closing the distance on me would be to start my attack from this angle so that he never gets within 4.5 miles in time, because he'd have to travel that far instead of just having to travel that far. But we'll see how this goes. We can always kill him with some ESSMs. He only has 3 missiles to shoot at us. It's a little late to change it now unless I ran away. His missiles, his anti-ship missiles seem like they're short range, 80 nautical miles. Oh, it's that circle. I thought it was that one. I'm like, wait, what? Alright. So we're wasting a ton of ammo on that damn target. Also, at that point, I'm going to go lower. I mean, slower. Another thing which you can check. So the SA-4 that we're going to be fighting, or that we have to contend with, is a semi-active missile, and it looks like it's made to engage targets between 160 and 17,000 feet. So hopefully he tries to target our missiles, and not our helicopter, which is at 60 feet, so it may be difficult for him to do. We do need to keep in mind that our helicopter needs to be very careful when it's trying to exit. I'm going to slow it down to 1x speed. Oh, and one other thing I forgot to mention before. So our sonar buoys have a time to live, which I believe is like 8 hours or something like, or sorry, no, it's like an hour and a half for, or is it an hour for active, and passive is 8 hours. Either way, let's look at the action going to go on here. there's missile number 1. So he spotted that. He's putting his jammers on. He's turning. Hit. Alright, time to get to about there, and as fast as we can. And then from here, I'm going to select that point, set another point to there, and then you could do it at a higher altitude. But not until we get a little further out. Make sure our radar is back on. So we can't tell exactly how many hit points this guy has left, but we do know that he's got medium damage, which we got from a battle damage assessment, since he is spotted by a sensor that's capable of doing it, possibly the Mark 1 eyeball. I'm not sure if the missiles can actually do that or not. So the second guy is going to come in and do the exact same attack. So one thing that's common when ships receive damage is that they can't go at max speed anymore. I'm not sure if contact report will tell us anything about damage or not. It does not. Now, one thing actually... Okay, so this guy can return. I'm actually going to fly him low instead. And I want him to fly right over this to maybe do a battle damage assessment on it as he's leaving the area. Adjust these just so we intersect perfectly. And I can go a little faster for now. Now I'm going to go back to loiter. And fortunately, this guy's radar will spot him from a long ways out. I can raise the range of the radar by just having him fly higher. But in case this one's missile strikes don't finish this guy off, I want this one rearmed so we can go back out. If we look at our magazine, we can see we have 4 Hellfires left. And then after that, we're out of Hellfires. So if this helicopter comes back to base, he will not have Hellfires to load. Now, I suspect that if they're aware of this helicopter being there, they just wouldn't sail towards it like this one's doing, and I guess in some way taking advantage of the AI. Or it's so low that he doesn't even see it over the horizon yet. I'm not sure which, but I try to sail away from the helicopter and get it come to me. If I were aware of it being there, of course. Now, there's another reason I want this guy to come back to base. If we look here, we can see that this has been 55 minutes and 23 seconds of flying time. At some point, if it reaches a certain amount of flying time, it won't be able to rapidly just do more sorties. It'll need to go in for some form of maintenance. And the pilots will need to either swap out or get some rest or something. So I'm going to set this to the same thing. Fire all 4. How's he doing on ammo? I think it fired all of its damn ammo. Holy cow. Huh. So we could use this other gun. I don't remember the guns being terrible. Jeez. I'm just going to unselect him and let him return to base. It's either these guns just don't do anything, or this is the luckiest artillery battery in the world. Either way. There, but see now, battle damage assessment has changed to heavy damage, and fire and flood is estimated there as well. Still stay. Whoa, no, 60. We want to stay at 60. We can leave at military speed, but we want to stay at 60. Hell, I want to go down to 30. It's staying at 100, which I doubt its guns or its SAMs are even operational after that many hits, but better safe than sorry. So if I just unselect its vector by hitting F3 twice, once to select navigation, then just select no navigation point, it'll just find its way back to base on its own. Now if we look back here, we see that apparently, I'm not sure why, because this is 4 hours flying time, but I'm pretty sure we only used about an hour of it. Either way, it needs to rearm. I suspect that this target will actually sink in that time, but we'll see. Now that this one has landed, though, now we see that there aren't any stores available on that. So if we want to, it'll say reserved until we rearm it. If we rearm, we can't select Hellfires because we don't have any more. We could go back to ASW, or we could select Maritime Surveillance. I'm going to do that. It says Triumph, but I guess it sunk. That must have sunk. Yep. Event Nanchuka destroyed Nanchuka had been fired. So This battery, though, I mean, at any time I could have just fired tomahawks to finish it off, I suppose. I just didn't want to. I didn't realize the guns would be that bad. Let's finish it. Yes. There we go. Okay. Thanks for watching, and I'll definitely be doing more content soon. Have a good one.